I like Jan in there with the singing along with that intro there. So for the folks that are singing along with us, we appreciate it. Hey, this is Grabbing the Brisket podcast. We're on episode 190, and it's all about trimming and seasoning briskets. But that's the barbecue talk. We'll get to that in a little bit.
Yes.
How's everybody's week been?
Pretty great.
Busy.
Yeah, very busy.
Good.
Amazing.
Amazing.
The most amazing week ever.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ever?
Well,
Do you want to give
I'm
us
just
specifics?
saying.
Or you
No.
just, no? Okay.
I'm just saying this
Just in
week.
general.
Right.
Just in general.
Look,
It was generally the greatest
Okay,
week
yes,
ever.
I will give specifics. Specific one, may have pre-gamed a little bit before I got here.
No doubt.
Specific two, dude, we're at the end of the year. Am I right?
It is the end of the year.
This is the
That's
time.
accurate, yes.
This is the time of the year. Whether you have vacation or you don't, either way, if you have to go into work, there ain't nobody there. Ain't nobody.
Yes, there is.
That's a lie. My work is always busy.
That's because y'all work in the hospitality.
Hey, Jan, I feel you.
You're even more
You know what
busy,
I'm
John.
saying?
Picking it up, yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
can we get Matt? Matt, you got like almost like an echoey, like you're in a bathroom. Just don't say anything till that's fixed. James,
No, I sound fine.
how is your office right now at the end of the holiday? How many people are taking vacation? Matt, how many people are taking vacation right now at your company? They're like, even though I work from home, don't expect me to do anything because I'm on vacation.
I'm pretty sure
It's-
like 90% of the office.
Everybody?
Yeah, everybody's off, and it just every other day it's a new person's off. It
Yeah.
just it is what it
And
is.
You know what
Yeah.
happens? I feel like if you have the vacation, right? This is your vacation time. It's your whatever, and then people take it off, right? And then for the person that doesn't have it off, the person that used his vacation is now being stuck with everybody else's bullshit for the next 2 weeks.
I think that one of the biggest thing is listening to obviously the big cliche is very, very wrong. I'm sorry.
But it's fine. Don't worry about me. Why does it feel so wrong?
No, yeah. Let me back that thought up and
Yeah.
start it over again. Cliche is the wrong word, but that those office isms that people say or whatever, it's like,
Yeah.
hey, I'll take care of that next year.
Yeah.
That's
Sounds
next
like a-
year's problem.
Sounds
See
like
you
a
next
2023
See you next
problem.
year. Catch you later.
Right.
You're like, okay, great.
Never gets
I'll
old.
see you in 2 days.
Right.
Okay, yeah.
I
thank
put
you.
nails behind your car when you back up. Good luck with that.
Right. Today, and it depends. And a lot of offices are different, and even just this economy, the downturn that we faced over the last couple of years. I'm in the oil and gas industry, so it has gone down a little bit. But
So you're a volunteer and in the oil and gas
correct
industry.
The suppliers used to just unload just massive treats and cookies and platters of just everything, and you go up there and just basically like a buffet, just scoop, and it's it's fine. I mean, it's the holidays. I can eat 20 cookies. It's no big deal.
Right, you're supposed to.
Yeah, and then you get vendors like, bro, here's a whiskey gift set. You want that? Here you go. And then next thing you know, it's like, you like tequila, and so all this alcohol starts coming out, and the cookies and the. I can't believe you hadn't had breakfast tacos yet. Let's boom. So it's a great time of the year, especially if you're in me in the purchasing side of it. The sales guys are in full force, just trying to sit there and just make you happy. So
Yes.
I hate you right now. I get none of that.
So just to be honest with you, you're exactly right, James. Earlier this week, I was up at 4:45 this morning. I already placed an order at a I'm gonna give a little love. It's Pena's right there at
The donut and diner.
Yeah.
So they had to change the name, right? That's what it is. They had to change the name, and dude, I ordered like $300 worth of breakfast, delivered it out, and as soon as I dropped it off, and I actually had coffee on the way. It just hadn't got there yet. First thing, I mean, I just unloaded $300 worth of breakfast. Girl walks in. She's fumbling around. No coffee. I'm like, look, girl. Like, what are you? Hey,
Right.
hey. shut the F up.
Right,
It's
take
on
your
the
ass
way.
down to the coffee bar
It's
that I know
on-
you got
no, no.
already.
Hey, listen. It's a listen.
I'm taking my donuts and left.
And you of all know, if you
Fucked
of
it
all
up for
people right
everybody.
now, James of all people should know that coffee's a big deal. It's a huge deal. Let's be honest. If your company doesn't have coffee, and like all of a sudden they've had it every day except for that one time, and they say, you know what, we're going to discontinue coffee at this office, there's going to be a mutiny.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
I'm just different. It's like I never expect it. I never request it, but
Yeah.
I'm always appreciative of the stuff that people bring.
That's because you're just not a.
Do you take their
dirtbag,
creamer?
I mean,
Right. Do
essentially.
you drink their creamer, James?
No.
That's not a boss move.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally listen. I go into and I bring creamer, but I go in. I'm like, oh, dang, that looks good. Sorry, last drink. I'm gonna finish it off. But yeah, done.
Well, let's get a little bit into, I don't know, like a little bit into the podcast. I know we're gonna. I know we took the long way around. Like the train, just like now we're gonna reel it back in just a little bit.
I think
like
we're
pull the
already
reins
in
a little
the
bit.
podcast, though.
No, we are.
Yeah. Like when you imply
John-
we're getting into the podcast, I'm like, I feel
Correct.
like we've already been in
Definitely.
the podcast.
Yes, we are in the podcast, and we talked about the holidays here a little bit. I brought a surprise, a gift,
John's got a surprise for us.
Christmas presents
From him.
for all you suckers.
Come on. Are you serious?
Yeah. Hold on.
Do I need to put it on my tree and not open
It's
it
not
until
even Christmas
Day?
time.
It's Christmas enough.
Yeah, it's about to be boomers.
Good catch, Alex.
And this is probably the coolest thing that you will own.
Do we open it now?
Yes, open it now. Absolutely, open it now.
Now I feel like a shithead
and-
for not bringing anything for anybody else.
And just
ASMR.
enjoy it. Take it in. You're gonna love it.
It's going to be everybody's shirt with their picture on it. I know exactly what it is.
No, it's going to be everybody's shirt with a picture on it.
So stupid.
I hate you, John.
That's what John does.
Hey, it's a grabbing the brisket shirt. There it is.
with
This is what John does right here.
an ugly mug.
So
Someone describe what.
yeah, for
what
people
we're
who are not watching the video right now, it's a Grab the Brisket shirt with John's face on it. Yeah.
you can get yours right now at grabthebrisket.com.
Can we get one with all of, like, each of our faces? Is all of our face an option?
Yeah, you can.
It is,
when you
actually.
Hey,
Hang on.
you
Hey.
can when you pay the money. John,
I mean, there were 4 better faces you could have put on the shirt.
John, this hands down is the best gift only because not only did you give a gift with your face on it, you made everybody push this up to
There you
the
go.
camera
John's got it,
at the same time. You know what I'm saying?
John
Absolutely.
has it with
John's gonna
all
put it
the
on.
characters on it.
Yeah. So I got one too, but mine has everybody's.
Aww.
Just in case, like you don't want to see what John looks like. There's John.
You're welcome.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Alex, for
No.
crumpling that upright.
Not
next
bad,
to the
man.
microphone.
Yeah.
Well, it was,
Very-
it was wrapping
ASMR.
paper.
ASMR.
Shut up,
like,
Matthew.
I mean, that's why everybody tunes in, right?
And I got you guys all different colors, so you wouldn't look ridiculous. you
Yeah.
know?
And I like how you got me
Thank you.
purple.
Appreciate that.
You like purple, right?
I do like
Yeah, that's
purple.
why I got purple.
No, I love purple.
Exactly. I think I got everybody a good color that they would
Yeah.
go with. And me and James do have the same color, but it's a little bit
I
different.
think I'll use mine to, like, change the oil in my truck. And
That's
you know,
typically the way it
mow
is,
lawn.
John. Right?
You're a butthole.
Well, can I say, John? Hey, thank you so much.
Thanks,
we
buddy.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Very
Merry
thoughtful,
Christmas.
man. Hey,
Very
seriously,
thoughtful.
thank you.
Appreciate it, brother.
Yeah.
What
So-
else did you get us?
What's next?
Hey,
Next,
I'm ready for.
and then.
Are there any more presents?
Right. So, okay, John, you mentioned, John sent me a text message earlier. He's like, okay, so I got something, I got a surprise, and I got social. He said something social. I'm like, social? What are you talking about, social? You're talking like the outsiders, like the socias and the greasers? Like, what are you talking about? You're like, our social media. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yes.
My brain did not connect those dots.
Yes, and I know James kind of got a peek at this, but I don't know if the rest of you guys saw what I posted today on Twitter or Instagram. Okay, so I've been seeing a lot of these things, and they basically always say the same thing, like, what's something that you can say
I did
both
see
in this and in this, or you can't say in this, but you can say in this, whatever. So I made a barbecue version, if you will. What's something that you can say while barbecuing, but not while at a funeral?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll say it one more time.
she's done.
Say it while you're barbecuing, not at a funeral. And we got probably more than 100 responses on this thing. And some of them are freaking hilarious. So I thought I would share some with you.
Give it. Let's go. Let's see.
So I'm just going to put them up on the screen here. And like I said, there was a lot. I tried to narrow it down. I'm not going to read all these. I'm going to put them as many as I have on the screen, but we'll read a few of them. If you see one that catches your eye, say something. This first one here was from our buddy Heath Riles.
Oh.
So
Who's ready to eat?
Oh, he.
who's ready to eat? Say it at a barbecue. Don't say it at a funeral.
That's funny.
Here's another one for you. Looks a little dried out.
Hey.
I almost spit beer out of my nose on that one.
Yeah, some of them are really good. Some of them are kind of good, and some of them are downright inappropriate.
So say it one more time, though. It's for people that at a what?
Something that you can say, or you might say while you're barbecuing, but you should not, could not,
Or ever say.
should not say at a funeral.
At a funeral.
Yeah, don't say this at a funeral.
Yeah.
At a barbecue, you might hear this.
Yeah.
So next one, what's the internal temperature at?
Right.
What's another one?
About 60 degrees Celsius.
Give me another beer. Let's see. That's a mighty
Or
fine looking hunk of
that,
meat.
some funerals that might be appropriate.
Right. I think there's probably some funerals where
Like,
there is beers
listen,
being passed around.
Yeah.
Forgive Matt's dog. He keeps running around here and just screwing with mics right now, so it is what it is.
He's our mascot. Let him be.
Yeah. I just wanted to
Throw
make sure.
another one on
I
there.
just want to make sure
oh
people
my
know.
God, that's funny.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. They're all hurry up before it gets cold.
Go back to that one. Dr. what?
Dr. D's.
Dr.
51.
D's 51, brother. You got a.
This one's from our
sense of
buddy
humor.
666.
Keep it coming,
OMG, that smells so fucking good.
Jeez.
Let's see. And I'm just going to scroll through some of these. If you like one, tell
kitchen
us.
Prime
voodoo.
slab of meat right there.
At Kitchen Voodoo.
This one is glazed funny. Boo. That sucker's done.
Let's see. There's some
I
good
smoked
ones.
them. Yeah.
Yeah, all I know is some of these people are going to hell. Like,
Exactly.
Close the lid and stop fiddling with it.
Hey, if you're looking, you ain't cooking.
Yeah, right.
I'm pretty sure that was one of them.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Should we wrap in butcher paper or foil? This one we got probably 10 times. Fat side up or fat side down?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Swine Spectre.
This one made me think of Jan. Should we flip it over?
Oh,
Hey.
wow.
hey, they're not flapjacks. I mean,
Right? You ain't need to flip them.
What'd you brine with?
What'd you brine that with? Yeah, that's. Yep, there's the one Jan just said. If you're looking at cooking, that would make great burn ends.
Okay.
Oh,
well,
man. Some of you guys are
Some of
dark.
these people are rough.
Sean.
yeah. It is what it is.
Wow,
Listen,
it's got
guys,
a good crust.
obviously, nobody knows who these names are at work, but hey.
If you want to look any of these people up, they weren't bashful. Most of them are Twitter. There's quite a few that are on Instagram as well. Stick a fork in it.
No, it's badass, man. First of all, somebody's saying what they... Yes, all day long. I could have said every one of these and then
Right.
some, so
Yeah.
100%.
Is that
Great
meat
job.
still good?
That's
it's probably
rough.
probably
I'm not gonna lie.
expired.
That's kind of rough.
I'm stuck.
Damn, she's hot.
Yeah. I like to say, hey, people that are following along here on the video or listening to the podcast, go slide over to Twitter and our social media feeds. This is still going to be up, so you can go and drop your own comment. Because I know there's probably a lot of people listening right now, just dropping like, oh, say this or hey,
Yeah.
It's still growing.
Tell
Yeah,
us-
the list
tell
is
us.
growing.
Just
It's getting
tell us.
ridiculous. Damn, she's juicy. I think the last couple here. Yeah, let's get that pig in the ground. And the last one was nice butt.
Nice butt.
Nice
Wow.
butt.
I don't know. It just
I love
cracked
that.
me up.
But these are things you can't say at a funeral.
Right. Don't say it at a funeral, but it's appropriate when you're barbecuing.
That's right.
Right. Yeah.
Oh.
I'll slide into kind of segue over to my night last night. I was over, and Jan hates this when I mentioned the Houston Livestock Show and Radio. My
You're a volunteer.
duties.
It wouldn't matter, but the fact that you end it with "I'm a volunteer"
I'm a volunteer.
and then you started out usually with "I'm a volunteer," those are the
Exactly.
things I'm talking about.
I have a pen.
If you just,
It's like one of those, like I got one of those pens that says
Bro,
I'm a
if you
volunteer, or
just
I
live
voted.
your life
like I
without-
voted. Like, who gives a shit? You voted. Yes,
Well-
you did. Great. Why you got to wear a
This
little
is
ribbon?
how we feel with your little. I volunteer.
I know. I'm just kidding.
No.
So
I think it's
Own
great
it.
you volunteer.
we got
Own it, James.
we got
Own
invited
it.
over to do a beer tasting for the barbecue
Yeah.
portion of the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. So we got to sample all the beers that Miller Coors offered.
They're delicious.
There some are delicious, some were kind of just straight up trash. I'm gonna
Really?
be honest. Yeah, Soul. I don't know if you guys are a fan of Soul.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
that,
Had
That's
it.
the
Mexican
Mexican
lager?
lager that they
I don't
offer.
know
So
if I've ever
good.
had that.
Straight
Del Sol.
garbage.
Yeah,
like,
it's so good.
Because they serve it in a clear bottle.
No, it's bad.
it comes in a can.
Oh,
okay.
no, so they used
So
to serve it in the same bottle as the Corona,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a Leinenkugel in there that was it's not bad. I mean it's okay. There's a different Blue Moon. They pulled out the regular Blue Moon and they brought out a different or a brand new Blue Moon. I can't remember what the name was. I actually kind of liked it. I was like, okay, this is actually pretty good. Again,
It's called
a lot of these people that are going to the rodeo are probably power drinkers,
Yeah.
and they're probably just going to stick with just the Ultra or the Bud Light or
Right.
Coors or whatever. I did hear that they are going to offer Coors Original.
Oh, nice.
The Yellow Jackets. There, I think last year it was only available to the teams, wasn't available to the public. Now they're going to offer it to the public as well. So super excited about that.
Love that.
Why are you so excited about that?
Because I like Coors Original.
It's good to drink.
No, it is. But
It's good to drink.
is it that much different than the Coors Light? Be honest.
Yeah, a lot more flavor.
See, that's what I'm
That was
saying.
probably
This
the
is-
first beer that
lot
I
more
ever
flavor.
drank.
So
Yeah.
Because my dad used to drink them when I was a kid.
I think it's important to talk about. It's like people associate Coors Original and Coors Light being the same beer. It is not the
No.
same beer.
No, it's not.
It actually has a good flavor. They both do. One is way watered down. Coors Original is it may be one of the best. I almost
Yeah.
equate this to a light beer, but it may be one of the best light beers or best full body beers out
Right.
there. I'm just saying.
Well, they told us so this Coors Original is brewed and I think is it gold. I might be lying to somebody. I might look it up or fact check it.
Yeah.
It's like Golden, Colorado,
Sounds
or
familiar.
yeah.
and it Coors Original is only brewed there at that brewery. Now they brew a lot of Coors Light and other beers all across the country,
Yeah, it's a cheaper
but Coors
beer.
Original is only brewed at this specific brewery, and it's been made there for the last like 100
Forever.
something years.
Since
Makes
it-
you want to go get one right
almost
off
since
the
Using
bat.
that water.
I really
Yeah.
want one right now.
Yeah, now I want to go there.
Yeah,
Let's go.
let's do it.
Let's
Road
do
trip.
a trip.
Podcast
We'll
on
do a trip.
location at the Coors Brewery.
I'll see what I
let's
can
do
do.
Hey, listen, as much Coors or Coors Light that we actually drink on this podcast, Coors should actually be the official sponsor.
Yeah, we're keeping them
I'm
in
just
business. Sure.
saying. Is that crazy to me? Or like,
Denver
Think
Martin,
about
Denver
how many-
Martin House.
Right.
well, no, Martin House is the official beer review beer.
Yeah.
100%.
Unofficial.
Yeah, the
Unofficial,
unofficial,
official.
the
Yeah.
unofficial. Yeah, 100%.
So we got it was a fun experience. Got to taste a bunch of beers. Definitely does not make for a great next day when you sample probably like 8 to 10 different beers and styles of beers or whatever. Next day I didn't feel terrible, but
Next day after that, you went to go
Wasn't all that
sample
great.
8 or 10 different stalls.
right, exactly.
Kind of like after last weekend or the podcast.
Yep.
Yeah. Our Christmas beer episode.
They rolled out 2 revolvers. They had the blood orange, and
Oh,
there
that's
was
great.
a new one, like some blood orange or blood orange honey type deal.
Blood and honey.
The blood and honey sucked.
Really?
I didn't care for it.
I like
Blood
the
orange
blood
was
and
good,
honey.
but
I like the blood orange and the blood and honey.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
and we got
Nope.
we got awesome swag bags from them.
It's a little cooler. A little Coors Light cooler.
Cooler. Then it came with
Yes.
a sweater,
Cheers.
I mean, it's not a Yeti,
frisbee,
but
bunch of other swag type stuff. So
He
it was
did get
pretty
a
badass.
frisbee.
Had a fun time.
He did get a frisbee too.
I said a Yeti.
Oh, I thought you said a frisbee.
I said it's not a Yeti.
No, it's not a Yeti. It's
No,
right.
no, it's not a Yeti.
It's
But
accurate.
Wow, what an asshole.
And this would be a
They're a
perfect
sponsor.
segue if maybe we slid into the Barbecue.
Hot Up the Grill barbecue news brought to you by the Barbecue News Magazine and NBBQA. Couple of things. The first one, and this is kind of close to our hearts, I would say. The Barbecue News Magazine just did. I didn't even know they were going to do this. They just did a review on the Chicks That Smoke barbecue rub. It's like a half-page spread in the magazine.
Listen,
hey, we're pushing it.
We support y'all. Let's go.
100%. So, anyways, they did a review. They loved it. If you guys have not checked that out, definitely check out Barbecue News Magazine. And if you haven't tried Chicks That Smoke, obviously try Chicks That Smoke. The other thing is, and I don't know if this is news or not, I just thought it was interesting. It popped up on one of my pages. Disney World is getting a barbecue joint. Roundup Rodeo Barbecue, Spring 2023, coming to Toy Story Land. And it looks like from the theme of it that this restaurant, you are like the size of a toy. I don't know if that makes sense. Everything around you is blown up, so it feels like you're the size of a toy.
Oh, I get that.
You see what I'm
Which
saying?
one, is that the one in Orlando or?
I'm thinking it's Disney World, so I'm assuming it's the one in Orlando.
Okay, yeah. I'll be there in March.
Okay, so hopefully it'll be open. It says spring of 2023. Andy created a rollicking place for honorary toys to enjoy barbecue-inspired comfort foods, served family-style with platters of house-smoked meats, a roundup of sides, and some miniature sweet surprises along the way. So it said house-smoked, so maybe it'll be, I don't know if it ain't going to be like the best barbecue ever, but Disney doesn't do anything really half-ass, I don't think, either.
I wonder what style it's going to be. Like, what kind of barbecue is that, you know?
Well, it's not
If
Texas.
it's there when I
It's not
go,
Texas.
I'll
It
stop
ain't
by
Texas.
I
and
bet
I'll
you it's real
review it.
vinegary.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, definitely.
Hey,
if Alex goes down there and it's
sauce.
there, he'll give us
A
a
lot of
review for
barbecue
sure.
sauce.
If it's there, like first week in March, we're going.
Okay, yeah.
I'll let you know.
I just thought it was cool, interesting, whatever. Mickey Mouse down there smoking shit. So,
I'll
Mickey Mouse is
I'll wear my
smoking
shirt
shit?
to review it that you just gave me.
you should, 100%. Anyways, that's all I got for the Hot Off the Grill barbecue news.
And that slides right into the barbecue portion of this podcast.
Barbecue
But James,
portion.
listen, I want you to really go into this with like a lot of enthusiasm.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
No, I think this is
This
is a portion of the podcast where we slow it down just a little bit.
James, no.
Maybe you're
fucking
cruising
ramp
along
it
in your
up.
car.
No, I
James.
like this. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go.
Hey, Jan, keep it down over there. I want to hear the slow part.
Yeah.
Right, maybe you're just cruising along in your car right now, just like thinking about how shitty your job is.
Yeah.
Just let's talk a little bit about brisket. Now I'm just kidding, guys. Hey, so we're continuing on with the brisket series that we're doing, and I know we brought this up before, but people still have questions, so we're going to throw a little bit of information out there to you. And honestly, it's like if you have more questions or you have anything else, write us, email us, text us, call us. We got the hotline.
Yes,
I mean, we'd
please.
love to hear from you. Trimming the brisket, it almost seems kind of like trivial because I mean we've all done it before, like I don't know, hundreds of times. So it's like it's firsthand. You know, it's easy for us to just go in there. Oh, we need to take this off. We need to do this right here. So, a couple of pointers, couple of little things that I wrote down, and I got this from shout out to the Smokin' Barbecue Source. So the pictures here in this little pamphlet that I have for you guys. Some of the pictures, that's where I got it from, and some of them that's where I got the idea from. But first and foremost, like when you're trimming your brisket, you want to start cold. You definitely want to pop that brisket into the freezer for a good maybe 30
minutes,
45 minutes to let that outside kind of harden up. Because it's so much easier trying to trim this brisket when it's a little bit frozen.
That congealed fat fat is one of the worst things to try to peel off a piece of meat. You're just like, it's first of all, it's slimy, and you're like you're pulling on it, trying to rip it with a knife. You're like, this is not working.
This is a good way to hurt yourself. Really.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Definitely. Yeah. And I wrote down it was like the warm soft fat almost has like a jelly or a jello texture to it when it's so warm. It's very hard. You can have the sharpest knife in the world, but you're sitting there trying to like saw with
You're
it.
sawing.
No.
Yeah.
It's
Getting
not
cold
good.
for sure.
So you pull it out of the freezer. The first thing you want to go for is that soft, kind of pillowy fat. That's when you want to knock out first, because the thick, hard stuff, that's going to stay kind of rigid and hard for a while.
Right.
So knock off that stuff that's going to be kind of like we're talking about Jello first, and then go into the hard fats.
Okay. That's usually on the underside. You're talking
Usually
about.
on the bottom side. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, you're just trying to peel this damn fat off, and
Correct.
before it starts to warm up, right?
Right.
Correct.
That's the goal.
So,
So,
I mean-
start with the soft stuff.
I mean, you probably have 30 minutes, 30 to 40 minutes once it's in the freezer, and that's it. And then at that point, you're like, now I'm trimming,
Right.
you know.
And I think we didn't mention, but I think you need to definitely start off with like very sharp utensils, but you want to start off with maybe some type of fillet knife, and then maybe, I mean, a butcher knife will do as well, something very sharp. And then if you can get a slicing knife, those two things can really elevate your trimming games. Simply having a long blade of a slicing knife to stay parallel, and you can sit there and
you really
start
shape that thing, right?
shape and start trim the top, as opposed to putting like gouges into the meat. And that's what you want to
Yes,
avoid.
I've
'Cause-
definitely done that. It looks like a bunch of freaking puddles when you're cooking it.
yeah.
I've never done that.
That's a
Guys,
lie. That's
I've
a
never
goddamn
done
lie.
that.
You're a
I
liar.
don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I do. Basically, same thing. I'll do that. I'll get some of that soft fat, and then usually the next thing I'm doing is I'm starting to shape the sides, right, where it was cut off the beef and it's got that hard brown, whatever the hell it is. I'll start trimming the sides down. Is that basically where you're going next?
That
Or?
aged-
correct, yeah.
That aged
Well,
fat.
okay. So that brown texture,
brown
that
fat.
hearts or whatever, that comes in when they slice this cow
Right.
in half. Like that's basically not burnt, but you got a hot ass saw that's just like cutting through all these like.
Right.
So it kind of maybe cooks
almost-
it a little
almost
bit.
cooked a little bit right
It
there,
almost
right?
cooks a little bit or whatever, but then it gets cooled off or whatever. But yeah, you get rid of that stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't want to eat that. So you get, I mean, I guess we always start with the fat cap first, right? Or do you start with the actual top portion? It depends on how you want to label this. I always say top portion is like the one that doesn't have any of the fat on top.
Right.
And the bottom is always like the fat cap, even though a lot of people cook fat side up. So,
Right. Starting with the fat side usually, right?
correct. Yeah.
No.
Either or. I mean,
Yeah, for seasoning or for like
For trimming.
for just trimming.
Oh no! Honestly, so the bag is like start with the top first, in my opinion, because you're able to square it off. So if you flip it over and try to trim that one and try to square it off on the sides, you don't see it as well. It takes you longer to actually see how far that fat really rolls over and whatever else, versus if you trim it that way when it's fat side down, and you trim it up, you're able to see the sides very, very clearly and knock off what you want,
Yeah,
or
I can
square
see
it
that.
off. You know what I mean?
I can
Yeah.
see that.
Yeah.
But also you're working against the clock. So I was like, okay,
Right.
tackle the fat cap first,
Yeah.
to where you get that nice and trimmed down to and it's almost like sounds kind of cliche, where everybody says, oh, you want a 1/4-inch fat layer.
What does it matter?
that doesn't
Right.
matter.
Like, what does it matter?
I mean, you don't want an inch thick
Right.
fat
Right.
layer there, because I mean, yeah, it will render, but you're not going to
It's not going to render enough.
you're
when
not going to eat it. Yeah. It's going to be sliced off, and your seasoning is going to go with it as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, rule of thumb, 1/4-inch, whatever.
Yeah.
Then
Roll Tide.
yeah,
I thought you were almost saying Roll Tide. Roll Tide. I was like, damn.
flip it over. You want to remove any silver skin that you see. I mean,
Yeah.
and that's where the fillet knife and maybe the slicing knife comes in. Fillet knife, you can kind of just like poke that sharp blade up underneath that silver skin, and then make your little cuts. But the fillet knife, I mean, you can sit there and just like, you got their brisket here, you can just pretty much plane the thing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
just make small little cuts all across, and just like done. Looks beautiful.
Yeah, that was a good trick to learn. Like, I didn't do that for the longest time, but maybe in the last year or so, I saw you do that, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh shit, that's a game changer."
Oh, the
Yeah.
silver skin?
No, using the slicing knife. but yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And
Yeah.
obviously, if
You're
you're
shaving it.
if you're doing this at home in the backyard, I mean, the silver skin, you want to get as much as you can, but it's not going to fucking kill you if you leave
That's
a little
right.
bit on there.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah. And I know we talked about picking out briskets before. You're always looking at the flat portion of it. You don't want to get anything that has. You want to try to look for something that's like very even across the whole flat portion of it.
Thick as possible.
Getting into the unboxing, opening up the brisket, sometimes the butchers kind of roll that under, so you really can't tell. The next thing you have this like little tapered off wing.
Right, I hate when they do that.
That comes out to the side.
Yeah, but you think when you're looking at it, you think you had this thick, like the small, like the tapered side, which is normally tapered. You're looking at it and go, oh my God, I had this brisket is the same thickness from one side to the other side.
Correct.
And then you pull it out of the package and it's like, never mind. This thing just unfolded in front of me. It's the most paper thin edge I've ever had in my life. Now I got to cut back like pounds. I'm not going to joke to you. Pounds of meat you'll cut back. And obviously you'll use those to grind or do something with. But you lose a lot by that. Yeah,
you do. Yeah, and like you're saying, I mean, you got to trim it back because, I mean, in the cooking process, when you basically want to shape this thing to a nice, not oval, but you want to round the edges. You want to make everything kind of just like uniform and even. You don't want the point to be super high up to where the flat just comes this way and all of a sudden the point comes up like this, because when you're cooking at that point area on the very top, that's what's going to cook first.
Right.
And your tapered off pieces, that's what's going to cook first. And those things are going to be like pretty much jerky or little dry bits.
Well, I will tell you this.
As you cook.
The OG move right now, the OG move is to turn your brisket over, right? And then you have your fat cap up.
Fat cat?
Yeah, well, that's what alcohol does to
Got a
your
fat
brain.
kitty.
Makes you, slur. Anyways, you put it up, but at that point, where that thickness is of your flat, right? Of the actual flat of that brisket, you just trim it the same size. So obviously, you're going to remove some meat that you didn't mean to or you didn't really want to. However, the brisket will be the same thickness. It will cook the same versus having some huge thick piece on the point.
Very uniform cooking.
So honestly, yes, flip it over, fat side up, find what the flat's looking like, how the thick of it, and obviously you have to maybe scale up a little bit, but just whack the fucking thing off and turn that damn thing into something different. Don't play around with it and act like, oh man, I didn't get that one brisket the same cut, or I didn't do this. No, form that brisket you have into the cut you want. And people are so worried about really trying to like over screw it up and cut too much off. And I don't think they cut enough off.
I think you have a lot of people that just I spend $68 on this brisket
or $78.
I don't want to cut $30 off,
$120.
Yeah.
And just like put it in a bag and just
it is what it is.
I'll cook whatever later. A lot of people are just like, I'm just going to cook it as is, and it comes out as is, and we'll just eat the crispy and burnt parts.
Right. But listen,
man, I understand it.
You're right. However, those people aren't winning.
If we're talking competition, yeah, it's totally different. You definitely want to go try to get it as uniform as possible.
Yes.
Backyard barbecue, I'm definitely trimming off the thin spots because, like you said, it's just going to dry out the thick spots. I'm not as worried about it.
Yeah, I just want to play devil's advocate on this.
No, I get
so
it.
obviously, on a backyard trim, 100%, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter. I'm just saying, for the comp side, flip it over, whack off the parts that are like not equal to whatever, and then, grind it up, do whatever you want to do. But, dude, I'm telling you right now,
And on competition, get rid of the point.
Yeah, I mean,
Some guys do.
I mean, you get into competition. I mean, they'll take these briskets that are like 10, 12, 15 pounds, and they'll take it down to where it's like this big.
Yeah, it's like 8 pounds or
Was that
something.
like
like that.
Yeah, a lot of guys are
they'll
cutting it
cook
down
it
to
in
where it's like
several hours.
tiny.
And, but for just back home, but backyard, just cooking, doing brisket yourself, try to want to make this brisket as uniform as possible. If you don't want to remove a ton of meat, that's fine. It is. But just know going into it that you're going to have some pieces that are going to be maybe a little bit tougher than others. It is what it is. and you'll live with it and go on the road. This is how we kind of learn, because you're just like, well, I'm going to eat this brisket. So even if it is kind of tough or whatever, kind of tastes like jerky, but hey, I like jerky. So I think everybody else does.
Yeah. So we actually learned before people had thermometers.
Correct.
And like, we had some like old 70-year-old guy going, nah, just put your finger in it and it'll tell you how done it is.
Right.
Dude, I'm like, this guy was so wrong. Looking back on it, I'm like, how much misinformation you actually got at a cook-off is crazy.
Yeah.
There were so many different things. Like, what are the wildest things you ever heard?
Yeah, I don't know. I can't think, I can't think right off the bat. Wildest things that I've heard at a cook-off?
You have to do with your brisket. You have to do this or you're not going to be successful.
Well, I mean, like, you got to keep flipping your brisket. You got to keep
that's
doing
right
whatever.
There, right. You have to flip your brisket. You're like,
right.
Not really.
Yeah. No, I know. Yeah.
That's great.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
And we're moving on. Jan,
I
I don't know if Jan's read the syllabus, like the actual cooking of briskets. That's coming up in the next couple episodes. We're still sticking on trimming. I'm busting your balls a little bit, Jan.
You are.
I am.
It's fine.
John, did you steal some of these photos, or you can throw them up, whatever?
Nope.
I'm going to go ahead and show the listeners. So that's one trim brisket right there. That is
last.
Good
how it's
brisket.
nice,
Looks
even trimmed or whatever. We didn't mention, so in between the point and the flat, you have that vein of fat that runs in between of them. And a lot of briskets vary, but you always have that deep pocket of fat. It's like, do I go in and cut it all out, or do I just cut in a little bit and remove some of it and just let it go? Because twofold, if you go in there and cut it all out, you're going to either you're almost splitting the two muscles, or B, you're just creating this giant pocket that it just, you put some seasoning in there and it collects with juices there, and
That's
it's
the flavor
like
pocket.
right, yeah, right. Hey, we like to go in there and if you can shape it to where it's kind of aerodynamic and just leave it as is. If you want to remove a little bit of that fat in that pocket, you can do that as well. If there is too much in there, and I'm saying a lot there, that will slow the cooking process of your brisket. So as that fat tries to render, it's gonna release moisture, which in turn is going to slow down the cooking of your brisket. So if you can go on and remove a little bit of it, great. If not, it's not really a deal killer for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Especially in the backyard.
Yeah. Most important thing is you just want to cook this brisket as evenly as possible. And so if you can make it look even, and if you can round the edges, and maybe a lot of people go in there in the comp trail, and they'll take freaking scissors, and just basically on the edges of brisket just cut all the way around.
But do you think it matters? Be honest. Do you think it actually matters?
It does. Yeah, it keeps the brisket from fraying off. When you're slicing.
On the edges.
On the edges. When you're slicing briskets.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah. Instead of just a square cut.
No, I get it. I'm just saying I don't know. I don't think it's... I don't agree or disagree.
Right. I love that.
Hey, Jan.
Can you get closer? Can you get closer
pull
to the
your
camera?
mic away from your camera.
Go fuck yourselves. Every one of you.
I do not agree or disagree. Jan's a politician. He's like,
what did I do, Jan?
Cannot agree or
Alex,
agree.
You've been the only decent person here.
He's over here. F you.
Right.
You're cool. F you.
Right.
Haven't done anything to you.
Yeah. Can we move on from this
we're moving on.
horrible subject?
Let's talk about seasoning.
We're going to talk about seasonings.
Let's do seasonings.
Brisket.
Damn it.
We can get into that.
Yeah.
Dude.
Salt, pepper. That's all you need, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, done.
Salt, pepper, done.
West Texas.
Episode over. But seriously, like being in Texas, Central Texas area, salt and pepper is king. Like people, and a lot of people are like, you need more flavor than that. Like, I can't believe, no. But then you go try some of these like really good barbecue restaurants, or really whatever, like, wow, this is pretty amazing. Like it's really good. Now, is it better than like having
No.
a little bit more flavor and a little bit whatever. And I think that's one of those caveats that people try to play with a little bit, because yes, salt and pepper does appeal to everybody, but then when you start throwing down those different spices and those different flavor profiles, that people were like, some would be like, dude, this is money, and some would be like, I don't know if I like that or not. That's, you know what I mean?
Right. Nah, for me, I'm all about layering those flavors.
Yeah, no, yeah,
Right.
I get it. Yeah, and one of the things I kind of learned, and so before we step over salt and pepper, the key is getting the salt and the pepper to be kind of uniform in size. And in order to get that, you need to get kosher salt and a 16 mesh black pepper.
You want it coarse.
You want it coarse. And that coarseness is really going to give you that bark that's going to pop a little bit. Other rubs that you use, the seasonings that we've used in the past, that has a little bit of finer finish to it. It develops a bark, but it's very smooth.
Right, it is, exactly. I was thinking the same thing.
You don't get that like kind of like the bumps and whatever. So
How would you suggest layering that? If you have a finer seasoning, do you go with a thick first, or do you go with a thinner?
yeah, I think you go thin first,
That's what
and
I
then
would say.
you go thicker on top. I read an article today. I was jumping back around to it's AmazingRibs.com and some other articles that I was reading. And one of the things they were talking about is spices and seasonings that are water soluble versus non-water soluble. Salt is primarily the only seasoning that is water soluble. So as the meat cooks, sweats, pulls down the moisture, the salt is able to pull into the meat. That's where you get part of the smoke ring, that combination. That's why you see that chemical reaction between the salt, the smoke, and all that stuff like that. But the other seasonings that you use that you can add, the garlic powders, the onion powders, all that stuff like that, that's not really water soluble. Those things aren't going to dissolve.
Right.
They're just going to stay there. So we'll talk a little bit later on when we start getting into bark development and that type of stuff. But keep in mind those seasonings that you're layering on top of each other. If you use too much of it and you don't let that set up, then you're going to have this like mushy bark.
Yeah.
And we've all done it. I've
done it for sure.
And I'm not saying it doesn't taste great. I mean, it tastes phenomenal, but you can run your finger across it and it's like, you can just see like just all this like seasoning. So it's everybody has their own preference. Everybody really does have their own type of seasonings they use. Whether it's the, I think we have our own personal favorites. I mean, the Holy Cow with Meat Church is pretty badass. The Lane's brisket rub is pretty badass. The Bolner's Fiesta rub is just, I mean, that thing is killer.
Classic.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Do we have any like cure for hiccups? Because right now, man, I have just
see
been
suffering over
hiccuping.
there.
I am so just like
Jan is
Sugar on
he
a
is-
tablespoon.
Yep.
Yeah,
can I say
slowly
that
suck on
Jan
that.
has seasoned himself a little too much.
Yeah. So I started off with like 30 minutes of like the other type of seasoning.
Beer?
Right? Yeah, beer. And then now I'm on the other side of this.
Okay.
So I'll kick it out there to all the listeners out there. If you have your favorite brisket rub that you like, hey, please drop us a text message, or better yet, send us a voicemail. I mean, call us up at 434-829-2299. Leave us a voicemail talking about your favorite rub. If you want to drop a barbecue win or fail, just, hey, do that. You can win yourself a bottle of Sucklebusters.
Sucklebusters. Everybody wants some Sucklebusters.
Right? That's what I'm talking
I
about.
didn't think we
Nice.
were doing that. Yeah.
We just
Okay.
did.
We just did.
And I think this probably perfect segue into the grabbing on the brisket.
Paying the bills.
Paying the bills.
Yes, let's.
You gotta jump in there, John. You gotta save me from that.
I was trying.
Like,
That's what I was just.
I
doing.
saw you thumbing through papers over there. I'm like,
Yeah.
what are you doing? Like a book report? Like, what are we doing? Let's
No,
go.
let's pay some bills. Let's hear from somebody in the Oddpods Media Network, one of our friends over there, and we'll be right back with what the thing you were going to say. Okay. Start by Oklahoma Joe's new Ryder Deluxe pellet grills.
Since the company's humble beginnings in 1987, Oklahoma Joe has helped those who appreciate the process and the craft of smoking.
What began with Joe Davidson, a member of the Barbecue Hall of Fame, and a dozen hand-built smokers at the Oklahoma State Fair over 30 years ago, has since forged an Oklahoma Joe's brand that builds some of the most sought-after smokers.
Oklahoma Joe has a proud history of creating uncompromising smokers and grills with carefully crafted design, and the newest generation of the popular Ryder Series pellet grills carries on this tradition.
The new features in the Oklahoma Joe's Ryder Deluxe pellet grills include a Pit Control 2.0 system that delivers the category's first dual-sensor temperature control.
Fire-focused dual-sensor feedback optimizes temperature control based on selected cooking styles, low and slow smoking, or high-heat grilling.
A power feed system that boasts the high-torque auger motor that powers through pellets for incredible power and performance.
The new Ryder Deluxe series builds on several popular features, including smoke and sear modes, which features an impressive temperature range that runs from 200 degrees Fahrenheit to a searing hot 650 degrees Fahrenheit, and a 20-pound quick-draw hopper that allows unused pellets to be drained in seconds for simple storage, removal, and swapping of pellet flavors. Guys, if you want to find out more information about the new Ryder Deluxe Series pellet grills from Oklahoma Joe, check out the Oklahoma Joe's website, and the link is in our description in the bio, and that's oklahomajoes.com.
Hi, I'm Sam.
I'm Richie.
I'm Little Matt.
And here in the 500 Section Lounge, we are three dads who host a family-friendly weekly podcast.
Yep, we laugh, we go on tangents, and we talk to great guests.
Tangents. I don't know what you're talking about with that. You know, there are gases leaking.
All right, okay.
Yeah, we have legendary conversations from sports to history and everything in between.
So be on the lookout for what we do next.
And always be there to
grab a listen.
Can we get into a little bit of the barbecue fails? And this week we don't have a submission, and it's not every week that I have a kind of a fuck up, but I had a screw up this past weekend. And everybody goes through it every once in a while, and I would say probably 99% of a lot of just fails in barbecue is probably due to distractions.
Yeah.
That's true.
I think every time
100% agree.
somebody sends in a fail about burning
Alcohol.
up a Traeger or
Yeah.
something,
Yeah.
yeah.
And you're always distracted by something shitty, right? Like
Yes.
something just crap.
No,
you
I know what I was
watched-
talking about.
Gosh damn
So
Fuck
was
you,
like
John.
Mike Tyson always says, like you always have a plan until you get punched in the mouth.
Right.
And that's basically what I had, was a plan of cooking these baby back ribs until I got punched in the mouth. And that punch in the mouth was me watching the Dallas Cowboys and the Houston Texans like slugfesting it out. And
Has to
so
be almost the worst game.
Yeah.
Almost the worst game to watch. It was so horrible. You're like, any minute now, this is going to be not real, and it was just real.
I know. I got up like super early. Like I got up at
To
like
watch that game?
yes.
Dude, our neighbors had the whole
I got up at like
bus.
6 o'clock in the morning to get
Same
ready to
thing.
watch this game.
all right, we're not going to get into the Cowboy Texans games. We're going to talk about this rib failure.
Okay, let's hear about that.
So I went into it, woke up early. I was like, yes, I'm going to throw the ribs onto Traeger. Just let it go. We're just going to be a nice little snack during the game. And then I probably cooked about, I think I did about 2 hours. I had that thing rocking and rolling about 250-ish. I was like, okay, looking good. Then I was like, we're cooking tri-tip as well. So I was like, I was getting that prepped. Me and Alex over here, we're doing our thing. We're trying to get everything set up, and we're cooking that. And I was like, oh, crap, the ribs. Let me go out there, and I got the ribs, and I was like, wrapped them up with like the butter, brown sugar type deal, threw it back onto the smoker, went back outside, and went, our man cave is in the front, aka Vegas. It's in the front garage. So we're watching the game, we're just getting super pissed off and excited and pissed off again, and you're like, what the hell's going on? And I don't know what point in the game or the moment it's like, oh shit, I got ribs cooking. And I roll back out there, and I got a video, and I'll post it on the social media site so you can sit there and
100%.
see it.
There was like an epiphany moment.
I don't think there was any moisture left in this rib.
They weren't that bad. Like the
It-
center,
hey.
like in the very center, those ribs are okay.
There was one good one in the middle.
Nah, there's like 4 or 5 that were like
But
they
nah.
were good.
If they weren't that fatty, they went so hot that the moisture boiled out of them.
Oh yeah, yeah,
This is
100%.
plus
It almost to if you ever
215 degrees.
seen the Three Amigos when
Thank you,
when the guy goes to turn over his cantina and just sand falls out. That's pretty much the
They were not that bad. Not even
the
close.
thin side, yes.
Yeah.
On the very what is it, like the loin side,
It's like
where you
shredded
have the very
beef
end where
jerky.
it's like pretty thick.
Yeah.
That was good. That was edible. But it literally is like it was like beef jerky. If you can make beef jerky out of like ribs,
Well, it's also you had them.
It's almost
You
what
had
we
those
had.
cooking in the backyard cooker, and then we were cooking tri-tip in the front, and the tri-tip came out amazing.
oh yeah.
Tri-tips money.
The tri-tip
Hey,
was
what else we cooked? We
great.
cooked something else too, though, didn't we?
No, I think we did tri-tip and
And ribs. We were going to cook some chicken and some other stuff, and
Do some burgers.
burgers.
That's right.
And,
Yeah,
That's
that
right.
and we
never
just
happened.
never did to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was a fail on my part. I got distracted and I just let it go a little too long. I think I kind of like almost like I'm gonna cook these just like I do my St. Louis style ribs, and you can't do baby backs the same way because they cook so quick.
Yeah.
And hey, it's a fail on me.
Yeah.
But
hey-
honestly, I think I'll just go with that bottle of Chicks that Smoke rubs.
So if you,
Oh, you think we're going to get you some rubs sent to you?
well, I won, didn't I?
Sucklebusters.
There's the jingle.
Everybody wants some Sucklebusters.
There's the jingle.
That's fantastic.
There it is.
Yeah. But if you do actually want to send in a barbecue fail or a barbecue in, and when we say barbecue in, we don't mean like it doesn't have to be you won something at a competition. It can be like
just-
you
you
nailed
did-
your first
yeah.
brisket, or
You're cooking for your neighbors and it came out great.
everybody loved
something
what
like
you
that.
You
cooked.
just
Yeah.
love it.
Hey, and your wife says, "Hey, man, your brisket came out better than the neighbor's Rick's."
yeah, exactly. And
Done.
that's a barbecue win. So share your barbecue wins, share your barbecue fails.
Go to grabbingthebrisket.com or grabthebrisket.com. You go to the little connect with us. You find our email. You can leave your little winner fail there, and we will send you some Sucklebusters.
That's right.
There it
You
is.
can also leave it on our voicemail hotline. That's 434-829-2299.
You could be a winner. You could be a winner. Just
You are a winner.
share or freaking like share a story, right? Is that right? You share a story or what's the other one?
Or don't.
Is that the only way to get Sucklebusters?
Yeah, you share. Share a win, share a fail,
or fail.
share.
So
Yeah.
do you have to call the number?
You don't have to. You could also send us an email.
Okay, what's the number again?
The phone number is
Yeah.
434-829-2299. The email is info@grabeminthebrisket.com, or there's a little spot on our website, grabthebrisket.com, where you can just punch it in right there and it'll go right to our email.
Yeah.
Thank
There it
God
is.
somebody said it out loud. Thank you, brother.
Love it. Hey, honestly, as always, every week, I have enjoyed talking barbecue with you.
Peace.
Thanks, everybody. We've been great.
Later.
Smoke on.